Hey, this is Pastor Bob and Jan.
PB&J. Hey, y'all.
Sorry about Friday. We messed up. We just got in our jammies too soon. And there it was. And we said, oh, we didn't do a pastor's chat.
Oh, well.
Well, here we are.
Didn't want to do one of those in our jammies.
Anyway, I think we're going to be cutting back anyway, but here we are.
Well, glad that we're here. And we have a question for a croissant today.
Oh, by the way, send us your questions from the scriptures via Jan's email. And if we pick your question, you get a croissant from Flying with Jerome, who's just around the corner from Christ Community Presbyterian Church on South Belcher. We like Jerome. He's a good man.
World-renowned pastry chef also.
Yeah.
So here's the question from Miss Sharon.
Hey, Sharon.
Congratulations,
Hi,
Sharon. So in Psalm 69, David says, let them be blotted out of the book of the living and not be written with the righteous. Her question is this the same book as the book of life found in Philippians 4 and several places in Revelation?
Probably. Different commentators have different ideas, and you know a commentator is just a
Commentator,
that's right. But anyway, I look it up, and most people agree that it is the book of life as one and the same for the book of Revelation. However, when he says that, he would like them blotted out of the book of life. Now stop and think about it. If someone could pray you out of the book of life, would it be very good?
well, they'd have an awful lot of power. I don't think anybody has that power.
Well, first of all, if you're in the book of life, you're there because God chose you, Christ redeemed you, and the Spirit has called you. And so, as it says in the book of Revelation, those who are not found in the book of life were cast into the lake of fire. So David is very upset. That's the scene as we kind of mold this around and unpack Psalm 69. The Psalm 69 is a psalm of lament. Lament, of course, has those four aspects that we talk about as we're going through the book of Lamentations. Four aspects of addressing God, of making a complaint before God, and you see some heavy-duty complaining there by David in Psalm 69. So much so that the Lord Jesus Christ often, the things that he said on the cross are associated with Psalm 69. Some of the things he said and some of the ways of the cross look like Psalm 69, as that was a depiction of Jesus Christ before him. And so when he describes the scene in Psalm 69, he uses some phraseology that, wow, and including in that, the third aspect of a lament is a request. And quite often in that request, just like the complaint is totally honest. And in that totally honest complaint and a totally honest request is an imprecatory request. In other words, I'd like my enemies taken out of here. And he uses that phrase, I'd like to take them out, blotted out of the book of life, the book of the living, and not written in with the righteous. So David feels, that's the expression that we can look at. David's pain from his enemies is great. You ever felt like that? I'm sure we all have, and sometimes people express that. You know, they might flip somebody the bird or something. I didn't flip the bird, but they just said, sometimes they might use some gestures or tell someone to go to hell. Okay, well, they're using that same phraseology here, and it's out of anger, it's out of a moment of frustration. And so David is very upset. He's lamenting to God, and so he uses this as a request, and a mighty open and honest request.
So, but part of the lament, the fourth aspect of lament is what?
Trusting in God.
So I would imagine, and I didn't read the passage before we did this, but I would imagine that he maybe turned around.
Well, there's expressions of trusting God.
Around.
There's expressions of trusting God within Psalm 69. So that's what remember, David is lamenting. And so sometimes when a person is lamenting, things come out of the mouth because it's just totally honest with God, including his complaint and including his request. Okay, so he's trusting God. So that's a good question, Sharon. It's good to put the dots together. Good job. And by the way, I could tell that Sharon has been reading the Community Bible Reading Journal Plan. Good job. Psalm 69 was on that list for a Saturday recently.
A couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. Good job, Sharon. Anyway, we thank you for your good questions, and be sure to include your questions to us by Jan's email, as we have a croissant for those questions that are picked from our good friend Jerome.
Speaking of good things, yesterday was great. It was great to be able to worship together yesterday.
It was a really good time. We had a total of 32 people out. We had 34 the week before. We had some people that were there this time, weren't there before. And last time we had some people that were there and not there this time. So 30, 34, 35, that's what we're looking at. But that's okay. As time goes on, as people feel more comfortable, I was talking to the blacks this afternoon, and they don't feel comfortable coming out. That's okay. But they told me how much they enjoyed the active order of worship, and it felt like they start Nick's Sunday school lesson right at 9:30, and then they start the active order of worship at 10:30. So they're right on target with what's going on.
Well, just so you know, Bruce and Mary, I've been sitting in your seat.
Well, that's because we're all spread out. So normally Jan sits up close to the front.
But I'm in the back with the Betancourt family.
Yeah.
Things have switched around.
Things have switched around during this social distancing time. And I think we're a little smoother on our communion service yesterday, but we're getting the hang of it. So
The preaching was great.
well, thank you, my beloved. Yeah, Lamentations chapter 3 is a wonderful passage. Enjoyed preaching that, and I've been working all afternoon on finishing the sermon for this coming Sunday, Lamentations chapter 4. A little thing about uncovering those hidden idols. Check that out. Well, anyway, we really appreciate those that are participating with us at the service on Sunday, and those who help get it ready. Some of the people helping to get it ready still don't feel comfortable about coming out. Their consciences don't let them, so they're following the active order of worship. Either way, we're glad to have you worshiping with Christ Community Presbyterian Church.
Absolutely. I just want to say thanks so much for your participation in the Walk for Life. It was a virtual walk this year, as you know. And our church team raised a little over $3,200, almost $3,300.
Very good.
Which is enough to supply 2 moms with all of our services, a mom that has chosen life. So we're just really grateful for that. It was fun.
Big congratulations to Rebecca.
Rebecca met her goal again. She and I both met the dinner club goal. So we'll get to go again together, which will be nice.
Hopefully they'll have that dinner. It won't be a virtual dinner.
I know. How would we do that?
I don't know.
That'd be a big Zoom meeting, wouldn't it?
I'm supposed to have a virtual lunch with Gene Moore on next Tuesday.
Interesting.
I wonder if he'll pass the grub through the Zoom. I don't know.
Anyway, that was one of our, the Walk for Life is one of the missions that Christ Community Presbyterian Church supports, and so we thank you for that very much.
My way, thank you all of you that many churches are really suffering during this time. We thank all of you that are members of Christ Community Presbyterian Church, holding up the end of holding up things and by supporting the church even through this COVID-19 time. It's wonderful. We appreciate your support, and supporting, also included in that is our mission agencies. As we always say, you're helping to support worldwide missions throughout the world, really. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much for joining us for Pastor's Chat. We'll look forward to seeing you real soon.
And hopefully we'll be able to get back to our quarterly gathering here at our place.
Ooh, I missed that.
Or when we have the Pastor's Chat, and you can bring your questions. Until then, it's video time. Be sure to send us your questions, and if we pick your question, croissant for a question.
Bye, y'all.
Thanks for watching. Pastor Bob and Jan here.
PB&J.
Bye, everybody.